Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Wednesday, August 10th at 9 a.m. here in Northern California. Before we jump into these charts, I'm going to tell you a little story. On December 26, 2004, a tsunami hit Southeast Asia, the likes of which was unprecedented in recorded history. The epicenter of that wave was nearest to the nation of Indonesia, and the northern tip of the island of Sumatra got hit first. I heard of the devastation in Indonesia. I have had several Indonesian friends, and I had been to Indonesia on a couple of occasions prior to the tsunami hitting. I'd been to Indonesia twice in 2002, once in 2003, and had a great love for Indonesia as a nation and the people of Indonesia. So when I heard of the tsunami, I called a friend of mine down in Southern California. I said, how can I get into Banda Aceh? I wanted to be a part of the recovery effort. I wanted to be on the ground, on the scene. And he said, there's no way for you to get in now. The roads are washed out. All the airports are closed. There's just no way possible to get in. I said, well, as soon as it's possible to get in, let me know. Fast forward a couple of months to early March, and he calls me on a Friday and says, if you can be in Jakarta by Monday at noon, you can get into Banda Aceh. So I said, well, what do I do? He said, just go to Jakarta and get to the airport and let me know what time you arrive and somebody will come get you. So I fly into Jakarta that Monday. I arrived Monday at about noon. I stood there for 5 hours waiting. I didn't know who I was meeting or what. It was somewhat clandestine, it felt, but it wasn't at all. The gentleman walks up to me and says, Are you Benjamin Robinson? Yes, I am. Come with me. So I go with him, and I meet a group of two other individuals. There were 4 of us together, all of us representing churches here in California. And we had each raised a particular amount of money to aid in the humanitarian efforts. We go into Banda Aceh first, and when we get into Banda Aceh, I've never seen such devastation before in my life. I mean, the way we went to one of the churches and we talked to the people there and we asked, tell us the story, what happened? And one of the pastors, he and his wife, they told the story. They said, the wave was taller than those trees, which was about 60 feet. And he said, the earthquake hit. We were in the middle of a worship service at church. We thought, that's strange. The earthquake ended. And then a few minutes later, another earthquake hit. And when the second earthquake hit, the pastor said, everybody outside. And so they left the building, they went into the street. And the pastor said he and his wife stood in the middle of the street and they looked and they saw the wave. And the wave was 60 feet high. Later, they clocked it. They said it was traveling at more than 500 miles an hour. And they knew at that moment that it was coming too fast for them to run. So they just took hands and turned around with their back to the wave, and they started to walk up the street slowly, calmly, singing a worship song. And all of a sudden, the wave hits them from behind. I mean, within just a few moments, just a few seconds, bam, the wave hit them from behind. And it took the pastor and just carried him off. He was gone. But the wife, it threw her up against a tree, and the water started coming up her back. And she said, I thought to myself, it's time for me to meet my Maker. And she just started talking to the Lord, saying, Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready to come home and be with you. And she said the water came all the way up to her chin and stopped. And then after maybe an hour or 2 hours or so, the water started to go back down. And pretty soon the wave receded and she was free. And a few hours later, her husband came walking back. Miraculously, not a single member of their church was lost. And we went to all of the 5 churches on the island in Banda Aceh. Not a single member of a single church was lost in the tsunami, which was miraculous in and of itself because more than 100,000 people, and some estimates as high as 150 to 200,000 people in Banda Aceh alone lost their lives in that tsunami, which was incredible. But we went from the churches to the refugee camps, and we went into the refugee camps, all Muslim, and we simply said, we are Christians from the United States of America, and we're here to help you. What do you need? And the elders of the camp, they met with us, including the imam, and they said, we need electric generators, we need lights. When it gets dark outside, our kids can't study anymore. We need lights. So we went out and we bought a bunch of generators. We came and we put generators throughout the whole refugee camp and then put up lights and lit up the camp. They were so excited about that. And we asked, what else do you need? And, they told us their needs. The women need menstrual products and so forth. And I'll never forget talking to the chief of the refugee camp. And he told us his story. His wife and 4 children were all lost when the tsunami came. But this was the part of the story that really, really struck me. He said when the first earthquake hit, the ocean left. The shore was gone. I mean, the water receded about 2 miles. And it's counterintuitive, isn't it? When the ocean leaves, you're thinking some catastrophic event has happened to drain the ocean. It looks like the ocean has drained. But the experienced individuals knew that when the ocean drained, that when the ocean fled, that when the shore retreated, it was a sign that it was coming back with greater ferocity than you could imagine. And so some people were screaming, run to the hills, run to the hills. But other people who were not aware ran out onto the sand where the ocean used to be and started picking up the flapping fish. And others who were older were screaming, get out of there, run to the hills, run to the hills. Well, when the tsunami came, it came so quick that those who had not run were overwhelmed. They were taken. Now, why am I telling you this story? What does this have to do with crypto? All right, let's jump into the chart and I'll show you. Imagine with me that this local Bitcoin top here was the shore. And everybody expected this to be the shore. But all of a sudden, the shore retreats. 75%. It's like the shore recedes. The water's gone. 2 miles out, 3 miles out, the water recedes. And those who lack wisdom are saying it's over for Bitcoin. It's done. It's gone. But the individuals with experience who've been in the crypto market long enough to know that Bitcoin does this, and that when Bitcoin does this, it's actually preparing itself to come back with greater ferocity than you've ever imagined. And, if you look historically at what Bitcoin has done, let's get rid of some of this. When the shore retreated here, it retreated 85%. But when it came back, it brought a 2,000% tsunami with it. So what I'm saying is, this pullback, it's always counterintuitive, isn't it? This pullback doesn't mean that Bitcoin has lost its value and that it's over. This pullback is preparation for a tsunami, a crypto tsunami that's going to come. And we need to head for the hills now. Has that tsunami begun? That's the question. Because we kept looking at this yellow line, which is the 200-week moving average. And we kept saying that the moment we close above the 200-week moving average, that's a sign that the bull run has begun. Beneath the 200-week moving average is a bear market. Above the 200-week moving average is a bull market. So now we're above the 200-week moving average. And really, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is our 8th bullish week. Really, it's been trending upward for the past 8 consecutive weeks. What I am seeing in this chart is that we're going to have one more capitulation, perhaps even a massive capitulation, beneath the 200-week moving average before the tsunami begins. Now, let me make a case for that. First of all, this is a weekly chart. What I'm seeing is that the RSI is going to hit resistance here at the top of this trend. Now, if it breaks through this trend and keeps moving up, I was wrong, okay? And I've been wrong before. I was wrong about the 50% pump in the altcoin market by August. It's completely wrong about that. Altcoin market continued to crash, okay? Some people have pointed out that I've been wrong about all of the fractals that I've shown. Not so much. I wouldn't say I was wrong about it. It just hasn't happened yet, okay? But the projection of what would happen by August was completely off, okay? So I admit that. But here I'm seeing, number one, that we've seen 8 consecutive bullish weeks. We might get another 1 or 2 before we hit resistance here. And then we're going to have to pull back a little bit. The RSI will have to pull back, I believe, at least to the bottom of this line, okay? But I do expect the RSI to make a higher low, which is bullish, okay? I believe we're going to have one more final capitulation beneath the 200-week moving average. It might last a few weeks, and then the market will begin its slow grind up again, okay? But let's take a look at the daily chart for a little bit more information on why I'm seeing this. First thing I see on this daily chart is that we're in a massive bear flag here. And it's counterintuitive, isn't it? If the flag moves upward, it's bearish. If the flag moves downward, it's bullish. This flag is moving upward, which means that most likely the market is winding up for another drop. Okay? Secondly, what we're seeing is that the RSI already topped out on July 19th, and we've just been hitting this ceiling again and again. So we had higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows until July 19th. And then we've just been hitting the same high, but getting higher lows. That is called an ascending narrowing wedge, which is bearish. So we can even come all the way up here to 27,000 and still be in this bear flag. What will invalidate this hypothesis of a bear flag? We break out bullish above it and use it as support, which is definitely possible, just not highly probable in my opinion. Okay? Now, if we take a look, this is a daily chart. So both of these are daily charts. This is kind of a more of a zoomed out a little bit so that we can see going all the way back to the bottom on June 18th. Now this is zoomed in a bit, and what we see is that we are in ascending narrowing wedges in both the RSI and in the price. And ascending narrowing wedges are most often bearish. We would expect to break down from here, okay? Now, if we break down from this ascending narrowing wedge, the lines of support are here, here, and all the way at the bottom, here. Okay? Those are our lines of support. Let me make them dotted lines so that they're a little bit easier to see, so that they're differentiated from trend lines. Okay. It's my anticipation that we're going to break down fairly hard, and I think there's a good chance that we can actually revisit the bottom of the bottom. And the reason why I'm anticipating that, the reason why I think that's a good, strong possibility, and by the way, if we look at these ascending narrowing wedges, we've got about another week or so at the most before we have to make a decision and break out either one way or the other. If we break out bullish and this line here becomes support, great, we're going to move up. But if we break bearish and this line becomes resistance, we're going to move down. Okay? I'm anticipating a revisitation of the bottom. And the reason I'm anticipating a revisitation of the bottom is because when we visited the bottom the first time, we did not see the kind of bullish volume that I expect to see in order to indicate that a local bottom is in. Look at what happened at this bottom here. Boom. Big red candle, big red volume bar pushed us all the way down to the 300-week moving average. But it was followed immediately by a big fat green volume bar, which indicated that the money was waiting down here to buy it up. Look at this bottom. Number one, this bearish candle this bearish volume bar doesn't even compare to this very bearish volume bar over here in March of 2020. But secondly, there's almost no distinction between the green, the next volume bar, and any other volume bar that happened in this whole move. In other words, the money was not waiting down here to buy it up. So my question would be, why would the big money buy in 36% above the bottom? Like, why would the big money does not want to buy 36% above the bottom? They want to buy at the bottom. So I believe we're going to get one more revisitation of this local bottom, and I think there's even a chance we break beneath it and touch this line and check in here with the 300-week moving average. We might even pierce it and go down to 16,161. And if that happens, this is going to become an opportunity of a lifetime for us, folks. An absolute opportunity of a lifetime. An absolute opportunity of a lifetime to buy into the crypto market. Now, by the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not telling you to wait for this to crash before you buy. If you were planning on buying, that's your choice. I'm simply telling you what I see in these charts. Make decisions at your own risk. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. I could be wrong here, although I do not think I am. But however, I never think I'm wrong. So now, if we look at the total crypto market cap chart, this is the last thing we'll look at in this video. The total crypto market cap chart is in the same or very similar candle pattern as Bitcoin is in. Ascending narrowing wedges both in the price and in the RSI. And the RSI topped out over here on July 19th, and it's just been bouncing off that same local top ever since. And it looks like it's already hitting resistance, which means that this pump that we got today, this big green candle, and we can see it more clearly on the 4-hour chart, actually. If we look at the 4-hour chart, look at that pump. Bam! Big green candle, right? That gets us all excited. But if we look on the daily chart, we're already hitting resistance in the RSI, which means that pump is most likely all we're going to get for now. So that's what I see, folks. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Listen, for more information and more charts posted, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/cryptogenic. But above all else, please make it your aim to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already, and leave me a comment letting me know what you think. This is Cryptogenic, signing out.